Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of her ship, the UEN Defiance. She held a cup of coffee in her hand and watched the stars through the large window. It was a quiet night in space. Her crew worked at their stations behind her. Everything was normal. Then everything changed. The alarm rang loud and sharp. Red lights flashed across the bridge. Sarah put down her coffee and walked quickly to the main screen. Her second officer, a young man named Torres, looked at her with wide eyes. "Captain, we have something on sensors," he said. "Something big. Really big." Sarah looked at the screen. A shape was forming in the darkness of space. It was a ship, but unlike any ship she had ever seen. It was made of something that looked like crystal. Light moved through it like blood through veins. The ship was 5 times larger than anything humans had ever built. "What is that?" Torres whispered. Sarah did not answer. She watched as the alien ship came closer. Then the message came. It played on every screen, every radio, every device on her ship. A voice spoke in perfect English. It was cold and had no feeling in it. "People of Earth, we are the voice of the Galactic Council. The Council has ruled the stars for 12,000 years. 47 species live under our protection. We have watched your small planet. We have studied your people. Now we have made our decision." Sarah felt her hands become cold. She listened. "Earth has been assessed. Your world has resources we require. Your people have strength we can use. You will pay tribute to the Council. You will give us minerals from your planet. You will give us land on your moon. And you will give us 10 million of your people for work in our colonies." The bridge was completely silent. No one moved. No one breathed. "You have 30 of your solar days to agree. If you agree, we will protect you. If you refuse, we will destroy you. Every species has agreed before you. You will do the same. This is not a request. This is how things are done." The message ended. The crystal ship hung in space, waiting. Torres looked at Sarah. His face was pale. "Captain, what do we do?" Sarah took a deep breath. "We send this message to Earth Command. Right now. Priority 1. The next few hours were the longest of Sarah's life. She sent the message. Then she waited. Her crew talked in worried voices. Some wanted to respond to the aliens. Some wanted to run. Sarah told them all to be quiet and wait. Finally, the answer came from Earth. It came directly from Admiral James Vance, the commander of all Earth forces. Sarah had met him only once. He was an old man with gray hair and eyes that had seen too much. His message was short. "Captain Chen, hold your position. Maintain communication silence. Do not respond to the alien vessel. Do not speak to them. Do not acknowledge them. Say nothing. Do nothing. Wait." Sarah read the message 3 times. Torres stood beside her. "Silence," he said. "They want us to say nothing? The aliens just threatened to destroy Earth." "I know what they said," Sarah replied quietly. "But Captain, we have to negotiate. We have to talk to them. Maybe we can make a deal. Maybe we can." "We do nothing," Sarah said. Her voice was firm. "Those are our orders." The crew did not understand. Sarah was not sure she understood either. But she followed her orders. The Defiance stayed in position. They watched the crystal ship, and they said nothing. 1 day passed, then 2, then a week. The alien ship began to send more messages. They were confused at first. "We require your response. Send your leaders to speak with us." Sarah did not answer. The messages became angry. "Your silence is foolish. You cannot ignore the Council. No species has ever ignored the Council." Sarah stayed quiet. Azadin. Welson 17. Azadin. 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 Then the messages became threats. "If you do not respond, we will consider it an act of war. You will be destroyed. Your children will be slaves. Your world will burn. Sarah ordered her crew to turn off the speakers. On Earth, Admiral Vance watched everything from his command center. He was a patient man. He had fought in 3 wars. He had lost friends, family, and parts of himself. But he had learned one important thing. Sometimes, the best weapon was silence. He called a meeting with Earth's leaders. Presidents, generals, and scientists sat around a big table. They were all afraid. We must respond, said one president. We must try to negotiate. We must surrender, said another. We cannot fight them. Look at that ship. They are too powerful. Vance stood up slowly. The room became quiet. In 12,000 years, he said, 47 species have faced the council. Every single one responded. They begged. They bargained. They surrendered. And every single one is now a slave. He walked to the window and looked up at the sky. The council expects us to be afraid. They expect us to talk. They expect us to act like every other species they have met. But humans are not like other species. We did not survive ice ages, world wars, and near extinction by being predictable. He turned back to the room. Our silence is our answer. Let them wonder what we are thinking. Let them fear what we might do. For the first time in 12,000 years, a species is not playing their game. Far away in space, Sarah Chen watched the alien ship. It had stopped sending messages. It just floated there, waiting. She could almost feel the confusion coming from it. She thought about her grandmother, who had survived a terrible war on Earth long ago. Her grandmother had told her something she never forgot. The strongest people are not the ones who shout the loudest. The strongest people are the ones who stay calm when everyone else is screaming. Sarah looked at the crystal ship. Let them wait, she thought. Let them wonder. We have survived worse than you. We have survived ourselves. The 30 days continued to pass. Earth remained silent. The galaxy watched and did not understand, but humanity understood. They had never begged before. They would not start now. 2 weeks had passed since the alien ship arrived. 2 weeks of silence from Earth. 2 weeks of growing confusion from the Galactic Council's emissary. Captain Sarah Chen had not slept well in days. She spent most of her time on the bridge, watching the crystal ship. It had not moved. It had not attacked. It had only waited and sent messages that nobody answered. Her crew was starting to break. She could see it in their eyes. Fear was a disease, and it was spreading. Captain, said Torres one morning. His voice was shaking. Some of the crew are talking. They think we should respond. They think if we just talk to the aliens, maybe this can all end peacefully. Sarah looked at him. And what do you think, Torres? He was quiet for a moment. I think I am scared, Captain. I think we all are. Sarah nodded slowly. Fear is normal. Being scared does not make you weak. But letting fear control you does. We have our orders. We stay silent. Torres opened his mouth to argue. But Sarah raised her hand. I know it feels wrong. I know it feels like we should do something. But think, Torres. The aliens expected us to respond immediately. Every other species did. They begged within hours. They surrendered within days. But we have done nothing for 2 weeks. Look at that ship. She pointed at the screen. The crystal ship floated in space. Even from far away, Sarah could see that something had changed. The lights inside the ship were moving faster. The patterns were different. Nervous. They do not know what to do, Sarah said quietly. For the first time in 12,000 years, they do not know what to do. Our silence has more power than any weapon. On Earth, Admiral Vance faced his own battles. The public knew about the alien ship now. People were scared. Some were angry. Protests filled the streets. Many demanded that Earth's leaders respond to the council. Vance stood in his office, reading report after report. His assistant, a woman named Captain Rodriguez, brought him more coffee. Sir, The pressure is growing, she said. Politicians are calling every hour. They want you to open negotiations. Vance took the coffee but did not drink it. What do the politicians know about war? Sir, these politicians have never faced an enemy. They have never stood on a battlefield. They think that talking solves everything. But you cannot negotiate with someone who sees you as nothing. To the council, we are not equals. We are resources. Cattle. You do not negotiate with cattle. You use them. Rodriguez sat down across from him. Then what do we do? Vance smiled for the first time in days. It was not a happy smile. We make them see us differently. We make them wonder if we are cattle or something else entirely. And the only way to do that is to break their expectations. He pulled up a map of Earth's military forces, ships, soldiers, weapons. Humanity had been building for decades, preparing for threats they hoped would never come. In 3 days, I am moving our entire fleet to defensive positions around Earth. Every ship we have, every weapon. But we will not fire first. We will not speak. We will simply be ready. Rodriguez looked at the map. You think they will attack? I think they have no choice. The Council cannot let a species ignore them. Their power depends on fear. If we are not afraid, they have nothing. So yes, they will attack. And when they do, they will learn something important about humans. What is that, sir? Vance's eyes were hard. We were born from violence. Every step of our history is written in blood. We did not become the masters of our planet by being gentle. We did not survive ice ages, plagues, and world wars by giving up. The Council thinks they know war. They have forgotten what real war looks like. We have not. Far away in space, the alien emissary was indeed confused. Inside the crystal ship, beings of light and energy moved through halls of glass. They had no faces that humans would recognize, but they had emotions. Right now, those emotions were worry and fear. The emissary leader communicated with the Council homeworld. The conversation was not going well. The humans still do not respond, the leader reported. We have sent 100 messages, threats, promises, explanations. They say nothing. The Council elders were troubled. This has never happened. Every species responds. The fear response is universal. Perhaps the humans did not understand our message? Impossible. We spoke their language perfectly. Then perhaps they are planning something. The Council fell silent. In 12,000 years, no species had ever planned anything against them. There had been no need. The Council's fleet was massive. Their technology was advanced. Their power was absolute. But the humans did not seem to know this. Or worse, they did not seem to care. Captain Sarah Chen received a coded message from Admiral Vance that night. She read it alone in her quarters, away from her crew. The message was short, but important. Captain Chen, your observations are valuable. You noted that the emissary ship appears nervous. You suggested the Council rules through fear, not strength. I believe you are correct. Intelligence reports confirm that the Council has not fought a real war in 8,000 years. They have only collected tribute from frightened species. Their weapons are designed to scare, not to kill. Their ships are built to impress, not to fight. Continue watching. Continue staying silent. When the time comes, you will be on the front line. Be ready. Sarah read the message again. Then she deleted it. She walked to her window and looked at the crystal ship. It was beautiful, she realized. Beautiful and old, and perhaps not as strong as it appeared. She thought about all the species who had surrendered to the Council. All those worlds who had seen these ships and fallen to their knees. They had given up before the fight even started. But humans were different. Humans had looked at lions and wolves and bears and said, "We will not run." Humans had faced plagues that killed half their population and said, "We will rebuild." Humans had created weapons that could destroy their own world, and somehow, had not used them. If the Council wanted tribute from Earth, they would have to take it. And Sarah was beginning to think that taking would be much harder than the Council imagined. The silence continued. The clock counted down. And somewhere in the darkness of space, the Council began to feel something they had not felt in thousands of years: doubt. The 30th day came. Earth had not spoken a single word to the Galactic Council. The deadline was over. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Defiance, watching her sensors. She had been waiting for this moment. Part of her hoped nothing would happen. Part of her knew better. "Captain," Torres said. His voice was tight with fear. Multiple contacts appearing at the edge of the solar system. Many contacts. Sarah walked to the sensor station. Her heart was beating fast, but her face showed nothing. Numbers filled the screen. 10 ships, 20, 50, 100, 200. The Council war fleet had arrived. Sarah had seen pictures of alien ships before. Scientists had imagined what they might look like. But nothing prepared her for this. The Council fleet was not just large. It was overwhelming. Ships of every shape and size filled the space near Neptune. Some were long and sharp like knives. Some were round like moons. Some pulsed with strange lights and energies that human science did not understand. At the center of the fleet was a ship so large it made the others look like toys. It was black and covered with symbols that seemed to move. This was the Council's flagship. This was their answer to humanity's silence. "They are sending a message," Torres said weakly. The main screen flickered. An alien appeared. It was tall and thin, with skin that looked like silver metal. Its eyes were black pools with no light in them. When it spoke, its voice echoed like it came from a deep cave. "Humans of Earth, your time is finished. You were given 30 cycles to accept our generous offer. You chose silence. You chose insult. Now you will learn what happens to species who do not understand their place in the galaxy." The alien leaned closer to the screen. Its black eyes seemed to look directly at Sarah. "We are the Galactic Council. We have destroyed civilizations older than your sun. We have ended species before your ancestors climbed down from trees. You are nothing. You have always been nothing. And now, you will give us what we demanded, or you will be erased from existence." The screen went dark. Sarah's crew looked at her. Their faces were white with terror. 200 alien warships were floating at the edge of their solar system, and Earth's entire fleet was less than 50 ships. Sarah took a deep breath. Then she opened a channel to Admiral Vance. "Admiral, this is Captain Chen. The Council fleet has arrived. 200 vessels. They have given us a final warning." Vance's voice came through clear and calm. "I see them, Captain. All Earth forces are moving to defensive positions. You and the Defiance are assigned to the front line." "Understood, sir." Sarah paused. "Admiral, what are our orders?" "The same as before, Captain." Silence. "We do not speak to them. We do not negotiate. We do not surrender. We simply wait." Torres grabbed Sarah's arm. "Captain, this is madness. We cannot fight that fleet. We need to talk to them. We need to follow orders," Sarah said firmly. She removed his hand gently. "Torres, I know you are afraid. I am afraid too. But think about what the Admiral is doing. The Council expects us to beg. They expect us to cry and plead for mercy. Every other species did exactly that. And every other species lost." She pointed at the screen, where the distant lights of the alien fleet glowed like angry stars. "Those ships have never fought a real battle. The Council wins by fear, not by fighting. They show their big fleet, and everyone surrenders. But we are not surrendering. And every hour that passes, they wonder why. Every hour that we stay silent, they become more uncertain. That uncertainty is our weapon." The next 3 days were the longest in human history. Earth's fleet gathered near Mars. 50 ships, destroyers, cruisers, and carriers. They were small compared to the alien vessels. They were young. Most had never fired their weapons in real combat. But they were there. Silent. Waiting. Ready. The Council fleet moved slowly toward Earth. They expected the humans to break at any moment. Surely, when the humans saw the fleet coming closer, they would finally understand. They would finally beg. But the human ships did not move. They did not send messages. They simply floated in formation, weapons armed, crews at their stations. The Council commanders grew uncomfortable. Why do they not respond? One commander asked. Why do they not try to negotiate? Perhaps they are stupid, another suggested. Perhaps they do not understand the danger. No, said the fleet admiral. He was old, even by Council standards. He had led fleets for 3,000 years. I have seen stupid species. They panic. They run. They make mistakes. These humans are doing none of those things. They are waiting. Planning. Planning what? They cannot defeat us. The admiral looked at the human fleet on his screen. 50 small ships against 200. It should be easy. It should be quick. But something bothered him. Something in the way the humans held their formation. Something in their perfect, terrible silence. I do not know what they are planning, he admitted. And that is what worries me. On the Defiance, Captain Sarah Chen watched the alien fleet come closer. She had not slept in 2 days. Her crew was exhausted. But no one complained. No one asked to run. They had all accepted something. If they were going to die, they would die standing. They would die silent. They would die human. Sarah thought about her family back on Earth. Her mother, her brother, her niece who was only 3 years old. They were all watching the sky right now, wondering if tomorrow would come. She could not save them by surrendering. The Council did not want peace. They wanted slaves. If Earth gave them what they wanted, it would only delay the end. Her niece would grow up in chains. No. Better to fight. Better to show the galaxy that humans would not kneel. The alien fleet stopped just beyond Mars. They waited one more day for the humans to speak. The humans said nothing. Finally, the Council fleet admiral made his decision. Prepare to attack. He ordered. If they will not surrender, we will take what we want by force. Begin with the lead human vessels. Show them what happens to those who defy the Council. The order spread through the fleet. 200 ships powered their weapons. The lights on their hulls glowed brighter. They aimed at the tiny human fleet. On the Defiance, Sarah saw the energy readings spike. She knew what was coming. All hands, she said calmly over the ship's speakers. Prepare for combat. Stay at your stations. Stay focused. And remember, we do not speak. We do not surrender. We answer with action. She sat down in her captain's chair and watched the alien fleet. Come on then, she whispered to herself. Show us what you have, and we will show you what we are. The first shots were fired. The war had begun. The first Council weapon hit the Defiance like a hammer made of light. The ship shook. Alarms screamed. Sarah gripped her chair as the floor tilted beneath her. Damage report, she shouted. Torres checked his screens, his hands shaking. Then, he stopped, shaking. He looked at the screens again. He looked at Sarah with wide eyes. Captain, he said slowly. Shields are holding. We lost only 12% shield power. Sarah stared at him. 12%? From a direct hit? Yes, Captain. Their weapons are. Another blast hit the ship. The shields dropped another 10%. But they held. They held easily. Sarah began to laugh. She could not help it. All this time, all this fear, and the mighty Galactic Council's weapons were weaker than she had expected. Weaker than human weapons. She understood now. She understood everything. The Council had never needed strong weapons. For 12,000 years, Every species had surrendered before the fighting started. The Council had built ships that looked powerful, that glowed with frightening lights, that made impressive sounds. But they had never needed to actually win a real battle. They had forgotten how to fight. All ships, Sarah broadcast on the fleet channel. This is Captain Chen. Their weapons are weak. Repeat. Their weapons are weak. Our shields can take their fire. Hold the line. Across the human fleet, the same discovery was being made. Ship after ship took hits from the Council weapons. Ship after ship survived. Shields flickered but did not fall. Armor dented but did not break. The Council fleet admiral watched in horror. Increase power to weapons. Fire all batteries. His ships obeyed. Hundreds of energy beams lanced through space, striking the human vessels. The humans did not retreat. They did not call for mercy. They simply absorbed the punishment and kept coming. How is this possible? The admiral demanded. Their ships are primitive. Their technology is young. His science officer checked the data. Admiral, the human ships are built differently than ours. Their hulls are thick. Their shields are layered. Their entire design philosophy is based on survival. They built ships expecting to be hit. They built ships expecting to fight. And we did not. The admiral realized. His voice was quiet now. We built ships to impress, to frighten, not to fight. On the Defiance, Sarah watched her tactical screen. The human fleet was taking damage, but nothing critical. Meanwhile, their own weapons were ready. Admiral Vance's voice came over the fleet channel. All ships, this is Admiral Vance. We have shown patience. We have shown restraint. Now we show them what humanity is. Return. Fire. Sarah felt a fierce joy rise in her chest. You heard the Admiral. All weapons. Fire at will. The human fleet opened up. Human weapons were different from Council weapons. Humans had spent thousands of years learning how to kill each other. They had invented guns, bombs, missiles, and energy weapons. They had created ways to destroy cities, sink continents, and crack planets. When humans built warships, they built them with one purpose: to kill. The first human missiles hit a Council cruiser. The ship did not survive. Its beautiful crystal hull shattered like glass. Fire bloomed in the darkness of space. The ship broke into 1,000 pieces. The Council fleet went silent on all channels. They had never seen one of their ships destroyed so quickly, so easily. Then, the human fleet fired again, and again. Council ships began to explode across the battle line. Their shields, designed to look impressive rather than protect, failed immediately. Their hulls, made of beautiful materials that had never been tested in war, tore apart under human weapons. The Council admiral screamed orders. Retreat! All ships retreat! Get us out of here! But before the fleet could move, something appeared on every Council screen. A face. An old human face with gray hair and hard eyes. Admiral James Vance. I have been silent long enough, Vance said. His voice was calm but heavy with something the Council had never heard from a primitive species: confidence. You wanted to know why we did not respond to your demands. You wanted to know why we did not beg. Let me show you. The screen changed. Images began to play. The Council crews watched, unable to look away. They saw humans in a frozen wasteland, wrapped in animal skins, hunting massive creatures with simple spears. They saw humans survive an age of ice that killed most life on their planet. They saw humans building cities, creating art, inventing writing. Then they saw humans destroying those same cities in wars, fought for land, for resources, for ideas. They saw trenches filled with bodies. They saw bombs falling on cities. They saw mushroom clouds rising over islands. They saw humans creating weapons that could end their own world, and somehow choosing not to use them. They saw humans nearly destroy their planet with pollution, then, slowly, painfully, learning to save it. They saw humans fighting each other, hating each other, killing each other, and then coming together when something threatened them all. The images ended. Vance's face returned. "You have ruled the galaxy for 12,000 years," he said. "You have taken tribute from 47 species. You have never lost, because no one has ever fought you. But we are not like those other species." He leaned forward. "We are humans. We were born from violence. We survived through stubbornness. We reached the stars, not because we are peaceful, but because we refused to die. Every challenge we have faced, we have overcome. Ice ages, world wars, plagues, our own stupidity. We have beaten them all." His voice grew harder. "You want tribute from Earth? You want our resources? Our people? Then come and take them. But understand this. We do not pay tribute. We never have. We never will. We would rather burn than kneel. We would rather die standing than live on our knees." The transmission ended. The Council fleet hung in space, damaged and confused. Their admiral looked at the human ships, which had stopped firing. The humans were waiting again. Silent. Ready. The admiral understood now. He understood why the humans had not responded to the Council's demands. It was not because they were stupid. It was not because they did not understand the danger. It was because they did not care. They would fight. They would die. But they would never surrender. Never. For the first time in 3,000 years, the admiral felt true fear. Not the fear of losing a battle, the fear of facing something that could not be broken. "All ships," he ordered quietly. "Retreat. Full speed. Get us out of this system." The Council fleet turned and ran. On the Defiance, Sarah watched them go. Torres stood beside her, tears running down his face. "We won," he said. "Captain, we won." Sarah nodded slowly. "We did. But this is not over. They will come back. They will have to. Their whole empire depends on fear. And we just showed the galaxy that there is nothing to fear." She looked at the stars, where the Council ships were disappearing into the darkness. "Today was just the beginning," she said. "Tomorrow, everything changes." The battle was over in 6 hours. 6 hours to change 12,000 years of galactic history. Captain Sarah Chen flew her fighter wings straight into the Council flagship during the final moments. Her team disabled the ship's command center. The massive vessel, the pride of the Galactic Council, drifted dead in space. Its lights went dark. Its weapons went silent. 147 Council ships were destroyed. The rest ran. They fled to the jump point at the edge of the solar system, broadcasting warnings to every Council world. "Do not attack Earth. Do not threaten the humans. They are not like the others. They fight. They win." Sarah returned to the Defiance after the battle. Her ship was damaged but still flying. Her crew was tired but alive. They had lost 7 ships and 2,000 people in the fighting. It was a high price. But the Council had lost much more. Admiral Vance called her directly that evening. "Captain Chen," he said, "you performed excellently today. Your attack on the flagship may have saved thousands of lives." "Thank you, sir," Sarah replied. She was exhausted. Her hands were still shaking from the combat. "What happens now?" Vance was quiet for a moment. "Now we wait." "Wait?" "Sir, we just defeated the Council fleet. Shouldn't we press our advantage? Send a message? What message would we send, Captain? That we want revenge? That we want to conquer them? No." Vance shook his head. "Our silence brought us this far. Our silence showed them that we are different. We will remain silent now. Let them come to us. Let them wonder what we want. Let them fear our next move." Sarah understood. The silence was not weakness. It had never been weakness. It was power. The power of patience. The power of mystery. The power of a species that did not need to prove anything to anyone. "Yes, sir," she said. The weeks that followed were strange for humanity. People celebrated in the streets. There were parades and parties and speeches about human courage. But Earth's military stayed quiet. Earth's leaders made no grand announcements, no victory declarations, no threats to the Council, just silence. The galaxy watched and did not know what to think. Other species, the 47 who had paid tribute to the Council for thousands of years, heard about the battle. They heard that a young species, barely a century into space travel, had defeated the Council's war fleet. They heard that this species had refused to surrender, refused to negotiate, refused to even speak. Hope began to spread. Quiet hope, hidden hope, the kind of hope that had not existed in the galaxy for 12,000 years. 4 weeks after the battle, a small ship arrived at the edge of Earth's solar system. It was not a warship. It was a diplomatic vessel, carrying the symbol of the Galactic Council. Captain Sarah Chen was ordered to escort it to Earth. She met the aliens at the edge of the system. Their ship was old and plain, not like the crystal vessels that had come before. This ship was built for travel, not for show. An alien ambassador spoke to her through the communication screen. It was the same silver-skinned species as before, but this one seemed different. Smaller, less confident. "We are here to speak with your leaders," the ambassador said. "Not to demand, not to threaten, to speak, to understand." Sarah looked at the alien for a long moment. Then she transmitted the coordinates to Earth and turned her ship around. She did not say a word. The diplomatic meetings lasted for weeks. Sarah was not present for most of them. She was just a captain, a soldier. But she heard the reports. The Council had never asked other species for terms before. They had only given orders. Now they were asking. They asked what humanity wanted. The human leaders said nothing for a long time. Finally, Admiral Vance spoke. "We want nothing from you," he said. "We do not want your technology. We do not want your planets. We do not want tribute from your member species. We want only one thing: to be left alone." The Council ambassadors were confused. "You do not wish to join the Council? To have a voice in galactic affairs? We have our own affairs," Vance replied. "We will explore the galaxy in our own way, at our own speed. If your species wish to trade with us, they can. If they wish to share knowledge, they can. But there will be no tribute, no demands, no threats, ever again." The Council had no choice but to agree. The news spread through the galaxy like fire. A species had stood up to the Council. A species had won. And that species wanted nothing but freedom. On the Defiance, which had been repaired and returned to patrol duty, Captain Sarah Chen stood on her bridge. The stars stretched out before her, endless and beautiful. Torres stood beside her, no longer afraid. "Captain," he said, "do you think they will come back?" "The Council? Perhaps," Sarah said. "Someday, when they rebuild their fleet, when they forget their fear. But it will not be soon. And when they come, we will be ready." She thought about the past months. The silence, the waiting, the battle, the aftermath. Humanity had changed something in the galaxy. They had shown that power did not have to mean cruelty. That strength did not require shouting. The Council had ruled through fear for 12,000 years. They had shouted and threatened and demanded. They had been loud. Humanity had answered with silence. And that silence had spoken louder than any words ever could. Torres returned to his station. The crew worked quietly around her. The ship hummed with steady power. In the distance, Earth turned slowly in its orbit. Blue and green and alive. Sarah spoke aloud, just to herself. The words came from somewhere deep inside her, from generations of ancestors who had fought and survived and never given up. "Now they understand," she said softly. "Silence is not weakness. It is not fear. It is the sound of people who have nothing to prove. The sound of people who know exactly who they are." She smiled and looked at the stars. "We are human. We do not beg. We do not boast. We simply survive. We simply endure." And when we must, we fight. The Defiance moved forward into the darkness, exploring new stars, new worlds, new possibilities. Behind it, Earth continued its ancient dance around the sun, and across the galaxy, species who had been slaves for thousands of years began to remember something they had forgotten: hope. The humans had given them hope, not through speeches or promises, through silence, through strength, through being exactly what they were. The galaxy would never be the same again. And somewhere in the endless night of space, Captain Sarah Chen and the crew of the Defiance continued their patrol. Silent, watchful, human. That was enough. That was everything.